Look at that, sun's out, what a gorgeous day today. So, as a plumber, when the day is lovely and sunny, you're guaranteed you're probably going to be doing a certain type of job. Same as when it's absolutely freezing, you're going to be going out, you're going to be doing burst pipes. So today, we're going to be doing how to fit an outside tap. Now, not quite like this one. This is a bad job. Weren't one of my jobs. But we're going to show you how to do a nice, neat outside tap installation. So from start to finish, what tools I use, what parts I use, so that you can do exactly the same. Okay, so we're over at the job. So let's have a look at the location that they want the outside tap and make sure we've got the pipes, the accessibility to actually install one. Right, so they made me a brew and we found a perfect little space here. So we got a drain. They've also got power, so if they wanted to put in, say, a pressure washer or something, and it's right under the kitchen sink. So we know we've got cold feed there. So we've had a look. We got cold feed, like I say. We did look at other locations. They've already got outside taps on the other corner of the property. So this one's just so that they've got something for the other end. So they can do the lawns, do whatever. So let's grab some tool bits. Grab some tools, grab some drill bits, grab all the things that we need, and then we'll start getting this one fit. Okay, so on the window we're taking off the doors, the drawers, and we can see we've got all of our connections. Nice big open space. Doesn't look like there's anything on the walls apart from that cable there. So that's the only cable going through. And we can have a little look, see if there is anything inside of that wall. Just go around. That doesn't look as though there's any metals or woods in there. So height-wise, we can go right up or all the way to the bottom there. I think we've got a good range. Left to right, good range. Now, we can look through the window, look at where that position of the tap is, and we can aim our drill bit either to the centre of that tap. Now I think the centre of that tap or slightly to the left should be absolutely perfect. So you don't really need a device like this, just a bit of common sense and you'll be absolutely fine. So let's get drilling. So we got our masonry drill or SDS drill. Now we need the right bit, so I have put a little pilot hole through just with this, just so that when we get started, it's going to guide it a little bit better. Not really necessary. So here is our great big long drill bit. Now it is super long because sometimes these walls can be super thick. This is a 25mm drill bit. It allows us a little bit of room to put a 22mm sleeve through. Now we can do that in plastic sleeving, or we can do it in copper sleeving. Just whatever scraps we got on the van. And we'll talk about that a little bit later on. So first, let's get this drilled. So first off, I'm gonna actually just put this into drill rather than hammer drill, just to get this started. Okay, so now it's like bedded in a little bit. We can now flick it over to hammer drill and we can just blast through. There's only one thing with this job using battery tools is you got to keep swapping over batteries. Right, come on. Right, you can see how far that's all of a sudden pushed through. Now we don't want to drill any further. We want to see whether or not that's come through the wall yet. Okay, there it is. See, I was obviously hitting. That's where it's just dunked onto. So it's always good to stop and then pull it out, have a look, see what's going on. because you might get through one cavity and then you've got to get through another layer of brick or whatever. In this case, it just went through super easy. And I thought, to be honest with you, that was plasterboard back there, the way that that sort of sprung. But yeah, that's why we've got to stop drilling and have a look. So what's going through the wall is this. It's called a straight through backplate. What it means is, when you're looking at it, the outside tap goes straight on. You've got no copper pipe on show. Looks a lot nicer and a lot less chance of anything freezing. So we haven't sleeved it yet. We're just going to poke this through all the way. So we're going to make sure that that's flush. Now we can have a look inside and see whether or not it's long enough. And there we go. That is absolutely perfect. Right, cool. Right, so it's time to get us some more tools. First off, pencil, markers, everything else we need for measuring up. And also we need to find something that is about 22 mil. So I'm gonna have a look at my pipe tube and see what I've got. Aha! So, some nice plastic sleeving. Now what we got, this is overflow pipe. So we can cut that down to the size, poke that through. Now all it does is it protects from corrosion. Now, when pipes freeze, there is a possibility a pipe could freeze in a wall. Now, the grade of copper going through that wall that's on the back of that backplate isn't the highest grade of copper. It's quite thin. So you could get a split or anything. Now, if it was to burst inside of the wall, there's a possibility you would not know. The water could be pouring down a cavity and causing horrendous damp problems, and you'd never know it was there. Now, if you sleeve it, the water's got somewhere to go, either inside or outside. And therefore, you know that something's wrong, you know that something's leaking. So when we go to seal up around this pipe, we only seal up on the inside. So that way, the water pushes outside and runs outside. So let me show you. Right, so let's pop this one out. Pop this one through. See, that one's a bit tighter going through. Right, we know we're through, and all we're going to do is we're going to push that back to where we want it, and then we know where we need to cut it off outside. Push this one back, and we want it about there. So it's still coming through the wall, just a little bit. Makes it easier to seal around. And we can cut that flush outside. So all we want to do is put our thumb flush with the wall, pull it out a bit, and then we're just going to cut that off. Oh God, I'm right in a thorny bush here. That won't make fun. Cut that off there, and that can then be pushed flush. There we go. Right, so I picked quite a flat spot there. So we're not going to have to do no sort of levelling out of that, I shouldn't think. I can push this in up too. Now I can feel there's a bit of a gap there, it's flat there. So what I can do is I can mark around with a pencil and then just chisel this flat by taking a little bit off the top. Right, so I've marked around, shaved it off around there, so now when it actually sits down, it sits flat. So we're ready to actually start screwing this to the wall. So first off, we need to take this one slightly out, and we need to seal around here just to stop any bugs getting in. So we're just going to seal around that one there, just a little bit. Stops that moving as well, I suppose. Moving? I don't know why that matters, Sam. Shut up, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. There we go. Right. Back in and flat. There we go. Put a bit more sealant around there. So there's still going to be a gap round the copper pipe and this plastic one here. But we just want to get some sealant around there. Okay, so let's get a copper one in. And that sits in there nice and flat now. Then to mark it up, I've got this thing called a marksman pen. So just lift that into place and it just sprays a nice bright mark. So let me get that sprayed up. like that. Right, so we can quite clearly see our drill marks where we need to drill. And we're just going to be using some 5.5 plugs with a 5.5 drill bit. They don't have to be massive long screws. Didn't really need ones very big. The ones I'm using are sort of this size, and even them probably too long. So you only need some little screws just to hold this back. Okay, so you can see we've got our red plugs in. Don't need to be massive, don't need to be great big brown plugs. Slide that in, that should all line up with them holes. And then we're gonna screw our screws in, as long as I haven't lost them. I bet I've lost one, haven't I? No, there it is, right. And there we go. That is well in. So I'm gonna put the outside tap on now. This is one of them really annoying jobs where you got to keep taking your tools back, otherwise you just end up with like 50,000 tools for what looks like a very small job. So SDS, drill, impact driver, fucking plastic cutters, screws, plugs, overflow pipe, you know what I mean. Right, we pack them away, then we're going to choose an outside tap. Hello pup, you going to come and say hello? Right, we've got a few outside taps to choose from. Now this is just a normal standard outside bib tap. Yeah, everyone's seen one of these before. Now there's not a little nut on the bottom, so that means there's no check valve inside. So I'll talk about that in a sec. This is the one we are actually going to install today. So this one here is a lever valve. So just pull it forward and it comes on, side, off. Super easy if you've got arthritis or anything. They're chrome, they look, I don't know, preference, personal preference. Again, this does not come with the check valve built in. So why do you need it with it built in? Why do you need it without? Well, we're putting one in new. So regulations state that when you're putting in one new, you need to fit a check valve on the inside of the property. So out the way of the frost, permanently on the pipe, so that if you ever replace the tap, it's definitely going to be fine. But if you're going out to replace an outside tap, always check inside, see if they've got the check valve installed. If they have not, then you can install a tap with a check valve built in. But if you have room, just put one of them on in the inside. Just tell the customer, let them know, inform them of the regulations. But existing outside taps, you can get away with one with. New installations, you have to put it on the pipework. You can argue about that all you want, but it's written into the regs, it's law. So there we go. Right, let's get this one fit. So obviously we can't just wind this in and hope that nothing leaks. We have to seal up these threads. Now we can use thread sealing tape, or PTFE tape, or polyurethane, whatever. I'll never remember what the actual word is. PTFE tape. I can use liquid PTFE, which is what I'm going to be using today, or a gel type. So the type I'm using today is a gel. So difference between gel and liquid, it just doesn't drip as much. So let me show you how to put that on. So all we're going to do is put some around the threads here, like this. Now I just like to spread it and smear it all over, like that. I'll take the excess and I'm actually going to put it in the female threads, and it kind of just primes it up for you. So what we're going to do now is just wind that in. Now we wind it in and we literally don't need tools, so we're just going to do it so it's straight, and that will just sets like any old glue, really. Wipe off the excess, job done. Okay, so just sealed up on the inside as well. Now that thread sealer on the outside to wind in the pipe, I know on the old stuff it used to take 1 minute to set, but we're obviously going to give it 10. So I'm just going to stop, have a quick break before we carry on. Oh, what's in my beard? That's hot today. That's all I got. I said cup of tea cools you down. I don't know if that's true or not. Let me know in the comments. Does tea cool you down? So now we're working inside. We've just got to turn off this isolation valve here. And hopefully that has turned off the water supply here going up to the kitchen sink. There we go, that's that one off. Right, any other taps it supplies? Yes, this filter tap here. So we're going to open that up. There we go, just drain out as much as we can. Okay, so we need to add in another T. So we've already got a T here for the washing machine or dishwasher, filtered tap, washing machine or dishwasher, fridge, freezer, and then this pipe here is a German barrier pipe. So I don't know if we've got the right fittings for that. So you can see there are different fittings to the standard ones, so we can't tee off of that. So the plan is to put one in between these two. So let's get these disconnected. Oh, come on, lift up, lift up. Oh. Don't worry, there'll be a little bit of water in that pipe work. And we can put our T straight on here. And then we've got to try and lift this up if we can. Right, so now we need to make some pipe work that links that and that together. So let's go get some fittings. Right, so we've got these long stem M&F elbows, which means that we can put them straight into a compression fitting. And it just means it's nice and tight. So we'll do one in there, and then we need to do some sort of T. God. Oh, God, it's so hot today, isn't it?
Yeah. I did go for a run this one, so I feel good. I had fresh air. So now I just need to try and get a lunch. That's what I need.
Okay, right, so we're doing some pipe work in the rear. I'm just making up the last connection. And we managed to do a T. Oh no, flux around that pipe there. I've got a dead arm. Oh God. Oh, right, let's just jump that on there. Come on, get in. You got to go in there, like that. And that is everything ready. Now, we still need to do up these compression joints. So they're all still loose at the minute. Right, so there's pipe work in place. You can see we've just done a T's and elbows, new compression nuts and olives. We just got to apply the solder. So I need to go all the way back to the van because I left the blowtorch in there. Great. Okay, let's get soldering. So let's say that. Come on, there you go. There we go. Right, I think that's all of our joints soldered up. So we just got to wait for that to cool down, and then we'll clean it all up. Okay, so that's cooled down. Well, cooled down enough. I'm going to give this a good wipe over, get rid of any flux on there. Okay, so that's nice and clean. Right, so next step before we turn it on is make sure that all of our compression joints are tight, so we know that we've left these ones loose, that one and that one there. Now I have tightened this one on, that one is tight, so we've just got to get these ones tightened up. And there we go. Right, so we can just turn this on quick. I'm going to leave this one turned off. So that's the outside tap valve now, that black handle there. Get this turned on, nice and gentle. Purge it. Okay, we can turn that back on now. And then we come up here, we turn off the taps that we turned on before. So all we were doing was kind of not very good, is it? It's just we purged the pipe. Now the pipe is filled. We can put it under some pressure. We're turning it on, and now we can check for leaks. So we'll see if we got any leaks on any of them joints. Make sure they're all good. Now, whilst we're checking, we can start packing away tools. And also, it's my wall, and we can clean up that pipe work. So, get it nice and shiny, make sure there is no flux on it. And it will just look a bit of a better job. There we go. Nothing too crazy. It's not like I'm going to get the brass out, but just so our work looks good and presentable. No massive snots on there. Yes, we've not done the neatest pipe work in the world, as in with the solder, but there's still no snots there. And that looks up to a good standard. Right, so it is kind of my first time using this on an outside tap. I've used it on another outside tap, but I do want to just come over here, check that that is definitely off, which it does look like it's off. Off? What am I on about? It is off, and it's not moving. So let's go turn it back on inside, and we can make sure that it runs. So, just turn it on here. Like that. That is all now on and live. Just give that a sec, make sure we've got no leaks on that back nut there. That all looks good. Okay, no drips around here. On, off. Right, well, there's a hose lock going on there, so we're not too fussed about that, but on, off. Lovely jubbly. So I am going to use it just to wet myself because I am scorching today. Oh, you don't want to be working outside in this. Ooh. Good quality water as well. Right, let's go tell the customer it's all done. Right, so we're just going to quote up some work whilst we're here. So that's the pool room, which has definitely got water in it. They've dug a trench. It's going to go to this plinth here. And then a kitchen unit going around here for a barbecue, outdoor barbecue area. So just got to give him a quote for that. So there we go. And then also just down the other end, so you can imagine where I said about that, the pool room, the other end of that wall there. So there's another outside tap here, but you've got all electrics and stuff there. So what we want to do is remove this, cut that back there, straight through, and then put an outside tap the other side of this wall here for there. So then again, that can feed the pool there. So there we go, we're away. I was showing the customer how to isolate it, showing him the valve, how to operate it. I don't know, just showing him. But anyway, we've got plenty of work to do back here. This is one of the jobs where I did a massive first fix for just going to point the camera straight at me because I'm always a bit careful about you seeing whereabouts properties are and stuff like that. There we go, that's perfect. Oh, there's a guy coming to do a delivery. I've got to wait here for a second anyway by the looks of things. Is he going to turn in there? Yes, he is. Right, I should be able to get behind him. I did a massive first fix in the barn, which is all copper with an unvented cylinder. That's going to be an office. So I've done all of that. It was basically like doing a first fix for a little 2-bedroom house sort of thing. It's got a bathroom, full-on bathroom upstairs, basically a kitchen upstairs because it's an office space, and then a kitchen downstairs as well. And then we've also put in a water heater, which we've put in it's an unvented, but it's not one that I ordered. He ordered it. And I think it's I can't remember the name of it, Spanish brand of unvented cylinders. So it's actually a wall mounted one. It's quite large for a wall mounted, and that feeds all of the hot water. As far as the heating, I believe he's going with electric because it's got solar panels on the roof. I think so. Anyway, that is all coming up at some point fairly soon. What way am I going to go? Because I want to drink. If I go left, there's actually a nice little corner shop, and they'll do some sort of funky drink. So yeah, got loads of work booked in. He wanted me to do the other outside taps and stuff, but I'm getting away early today because this is the last day of working this week. So that's it for today. I've got to make a big arduous journey all the way to Southampton, which is nearly 3 hours away. So to the American viewers, you're like, well, what do you mean? That's a short journey. Basically, to the people in the UK, that's essentially the journey that Frodo and Sam took to drop off a ring. Okay, it's a long way for us people in the UK, us Britons. We're like hobbits. We don't like travelling. So I've got to do that. So I need to go get some fuel, check the oil, check everything, check the water, just in case for the perilous journey across the Arctic. Yeah, so we're going to go in back there. We're going to do some jobs, blah blah blah. But yeah, that's it for me for this week. So thank you guys for watching. I know it's been a short week of work, but we will be back by the end of the week with something a little bit different, doing a little bit of a challenge video with a friend of the channel. So you got that to look forward to, and tomorrow I might even do a little something for the members, just a little Q&A, a little chat in the van on the way down. So yeah, peace out. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, do all of that sort of business. Oh, it's just cringe now. I'm too hot, that's why I'm just sounding cringe today. Right, fuck off, bye. Right, I went to a corner shop, and it is one of them proper, like a premier corner shop, because you guys get some weird and wonderful drinks. Now, I don't know where the hell this is from. Calypso, taste of, oh god, I wanted to burp them, but I couldn't. Taste of the Islands, triple melon lemonade. It's okay. I've had worse stuff. It's flat as well, which is kind of nice. Super sweet. And Kettle sweet chili and sour cream. Woohoo! I just need something to eat, something to drink. I'm absolutely sweating. Well, I got an ear infection, which sucks because it basically, I get vertigo, so I'm like, if I look down too much and then look up, I just feel like I can bloody topple over. Right, try these. Oh my god, so good. Oh, so nice. They're not hot. Red packaging, if they're chili, you think they're going to be hot, but it's not. It's sweet chili. So good. They got these as well. The orange ones, which are sriracha mayo. Oh my god, that was so good. But I know these bad boys are going to give me the worst heartburn ever. So I'll only have a few of them. I won't, I'll eat the whole bag. I've also got just a whole thing of sweets, which are going to be for the journey tomorrow. I'll wash my mouth out a bit. Let's see what these are. Peng. Absolutely peng. Right. Oh. Cold word cream. Oh, man. You've either got to put with or without check valve. Okay? Because let's face it, I know a lot of plumbers don't give a shit about the check valve situation. They're like, it's just extra money on the job, just taking money off of the job. Because what? Literally a check valve, 18 quid nowadays. Crazy. So you can hide it by just putting without within your comment. So are you with or without? Come on, tell me the truth.